Hello, welcome to the Hannah's Knit Cottage podcast. I am Hannah, and this is a podcast where we talk all things knitting and crochet. I also cross stitch, but we keep that separate onto a floss tube. If you would like to follow me on social media, I am Hannah's Knit Cottage on Instagram, and I'm Hannah072 on Ravelry. And this is episode 22, I believe. We'll see if I'm correct or not. If you hear rustling in the background, and you didn't see the latest video, we just got a puppy. His name is Ollie. He is a basset hound. And he is about 2.5 months old. We're approaching 3 months old now. He is playing in the background right now. We will see how long that lasts. So if there's a lot of edits and cuts in this video, it is probably something to do with Oliver. But he's settling in well. We love him. He's doing great. And if you hear the rustling of little feet, it's Oliver. All right, so this is a wrap up of everything that happened in February. I have one finished object. I guess I should start by saying today is February 28th. Yes, Oliver is playing with a squeaky toy. We're just going to have to let it ride. So today is February 28th, 2026. It's a Saturday. We just came home from the yarn store, and by we, I mean me. Oliver's been chilling here today. He has found the squeaker in his squirrel, and I'm very glad he's happy with it. Okay, so my one finished object for this month is actually not a long-standing, but a lingering whip. This is the Mix It Up stocking. I don't know the designer name, but I will put it on the screen. And I turned this into a snood, because you notice this does not look like a stocking. If you watch the video where we introduced Ollie, I made a snood for him. I basically was like right here-ish, and I just duplicated the pattern to make it symmetrical on both sides and turned it into a snood. It fits him very well, but he doesn't necessarily like wearing it. We're definitely finding the need for him to wear it because basset hounds have such long ears. It gets into everything, food, water, anything out in the wild. So we'll see. So Oliver is not a huge fan of wearing this snood, but I'm hoping within the next couple weeks or so we can get him to start wearing it. This is knit in Barocco Vintage, which is the worsted weight. I think I used the Barocco Vintage for the green, and then I used Barocco Vintage DK for the white because I had a skein of that in my stash. So this is my only finished object for this month. I'm close on some other things, and we will talk about those. All right, so whip number one is, I wouldn't say a long-standing whip, but you probably have seen it before, especially if you watched Whip Wednesday. With everything with the puppy, I honestly don't remember what I showed on the last podcast at all. This is the Jaunty by Andrea Mowry. I think this is the right side. Here, wait. This is the wrong side, and then this is the right side. I have almost knit through the first ball of DK, and I originally said I was going to make it 4 balls of DK. I'm not for sure. Then I was like, well, I'll make it like 2 balls of DK, and now I'm wondering, since I'm nearing the end of the second ball, I don't know if it's going to be big enough. I feel like it might be big enough to wrap around. I feel like if I, maybe, we'll be cutting it close. So we'll see. I'm either going to make this 2 or 3 skeins of DK. This is Kimber's Cozy Creations in the Crazy Sock Lady colorway. I don't believe this colorway is available anymore. This was dyed up custom for the Crazy Sock Lady several years ago when she had a shop, I believe, and they used this for summer sock camp. So I purchased several skeins of this then. I still have, I had a total of 4 skeins of DK and 1 skein of fingering. So my goal is with the fingering to make a pair of socks. I would like to make some socks in the DK if I can, and then I have this Jaunty, and hopefully that will use up all of it out of my stash. And it is in a bag by White Rose Fiber Company. Wait, nope. It is in a bag by Barley Pearls. This is one of my favorite bags. It's a popcorn bag, like a movie theater bag, and then the inside looks like the red and white stripe you think of, and then the pocket is like the butter yellow. It's pretty cool. So that is whip number one. Sorry, y'all, just checking on Oliver. He's in a playpen next to me, and he seems to be doing okay. He's not thrilled about it, but he's not losing his mind, so I call that a win. All right, whip number 2. I have had a sock student for the past 3 weeks. We started on Valentine's Day, and we did 3 weeks of lessons. This is just a pair of vanilla socks. I finished sock number 1. You can kind of tell based on the markers where I'm at on sock 2. And this is sock number 2. I am almost about halfway through the gusset, I think. So this is Wool Market Fibers Platinum sock. I don't remember which color. Wool Market Fibers is my local yarn store to me. I'm so sorry if the squeaking bothers you, but he is playing peacefully, so. But yeah, so really excited. I was hoping I would have these socks done for today, and it just didn't happen. I will probably have them done pretty quickly into March, so that will be a really easy FO. Because usually, like, I average about 2 FOs per month before I start knitting sweaters. I will say that. Starting to knit sweaters definitely changed my normal pace of finished objects, I guess. So I've only finished 2 things for the entire year so far. So 1 in January and 1 in February. And the finished object in January was a pair of socks. The finished object in February was just like an afternoon of finishing up the stocking and making, like, it took me maybe 2 hours tops. So I'm hoping with these whips that you start to see. The Jaunty, I don't know if that will get done in March. The socks I feel like for sure will get done in March because it's easy knitting. So just even in the car to and from church, or like on my lunch break at work, or maybe even today if I really have the time, depending on what Mr. Oliver needs. I might be able to knock that out today. I've definitely knit a whole sock in a day. It's a lot. You really can't do much else, but like I'm halfway through the sock. I feel like if I just had an evening to myself to do it, I maybe could. I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a March FO. So now the next 2 whips are both sweaters. Let me start with this one. This sweater is the Jethro by Ravelry. And this is a shop sample I am crocheting up for Wool Market Fibers. It's a knit crochet hybrid pattern. It's a granny square cardigan that you knit on the sleeves. So this is, I'm not going to show all of it because I have it kind of laid out. I'm seaming all of the granny squares together. The pattern calls for a join as you go seam, but I really didn't enjoy that. So this is actually a slip stitch seam. I know there's a lot of ends to weave in. I just finished this today. So I finished both front panels, and so they'll kind of hang, let's see here. They'll kind of hang here. So you'll have, I don't have a lot of room to go back. Hang here, and you can see how far down the sleeve that is. So I've got all these granny squares joined together. I'm working on the back panel now. I think each front panel has 8 squares total. And then the back panel has 20 squares total. So the 2 front panels make 8 and 8, 16, plus the 20 in the back is a total 36 granny squares. I have knit all of the back granny squares. I just need to put one final round on each of them because I'm not doing the join as you go method. And then I will do the slip stitch join. So my goal is in March to like knit one, or not knit, to crochet the final round on 1 or 2 of those granny squares every day. And then that will take me pretty close to spring break. And when we hit spring break, then I can really seam them up, join them up, and get everything assembled together. I'm hoping the knitting will go much faster because like right now, it was a portable project until this point. Right now it is not a portable project because I want to make sure I have the correct order of the granny squares so I don't have 2 of the same square next to each other and it's kind of all evenly spaced out. I'm a little more of a control freak when it comes to stuff like that. I know some people just kind of just do whatever and they're fine with however it lays out, and I'm not very good at that. So we'll see. This will be a sample for Wool Market Fibers, so it will go on display for several of the fiber festivals that they're attending this year. The first one it should be at will be in April in Seguin, Texas. So that's kind of the rush to get it done in March, essentially. I think that fiber festival is like in the 23rd-ish range of April. So yeah, it'll be there. It'll be other places. And then when it's not there, it'll be in the shop for a year. And after a year, it comes back to live with me. So, and then I get to wear it. Although I'll probably get some pictures wearing it before I set it off, just for posterity's sake. Okay, we're down to the final whip. This one has not gotten as much love in February as I would have liked. This is a bag. Both of these are by Sassy Sacks by Yachty. I use these a lot for sweaters. I basically have like 3, essentially. I guess I have a couple more. Most of my sweater size bags are taken up by other things. So I basically have 2 in rotation because I have so many long-standing whips. The last one, he's fine. He's just playing with his squirrel. This is the Comebackigan. My last whip is the Comebackigan by Andrew Mowry. Andrea Mowry is doing the March to May knit along, which is like sweaters and shawls. And I'm assuming this being a cardigan counts as a sweater. Because it didn't specify pullovers or anything. So this would be a good whip to get off the needles between now and May. I thought I was going to have it off the needles in February. And very early on into February, that became apparent that that was not the case. I did make the tough decision to go ahead and leave it a little more cropped than I normally do. But I think that's going to give it a good place in my wardrobe. There are needles everywhere. I don't have a lot of cropped sweaters, and I always wear dresses to church. That was just kind of how I was raised, that we always wear dresses to church. No shade if you don't. That was just kind of how I grew up. And so that's where I wear dresses. And I like to wear a lot of longer flowy dresses. And I find a lot of my dresses around here are short sleeve just because our weather is so hot most of the year. But like when we hit these transition periods, like it's not so cold that I want like a sweater, but it's not so warm that I'm comfortable without a cardigan. Like I kind of need a layering piece somewhere in there. And I'm finding that a lot of my cardigans are really long, like not quite duster length cardigan, but they're pretty long. So they look kind of, it gives school librarian vibes. And although our school librarian is awesome, even she does not dress like that. So I don't want to age myself before my time. So I think a cropped cardigan would be really good for those longer flowy dresses. To have something that kind of hits me a little higher up and gives me a little more defined waist would be a very good wardrobe staple. So all of that said, where am I at? Okay. There's just needles and stuff everywhere. I have like dropped like 3 sets of needles off of this sweater. I have a size 1 for the ribbing. I have a size 2 size 3 needles for the 2 sleeves that I was working on, and then the size 3, my interchangeable Chow set for the body. Here we go. There's yarn everywhere. I'm on a wrong side row, so there's yarn on both sides. This is where we're at. We've joined, you notice this is a sleeve. I don't want to stretch it out too much, but we've joined everything because this is bottom up. So we started at the hem, worked our way up. I joined the sleeve. Those are the armpit stitches there that we will Kitchener in together later. And I've got the sleeve here. So it's going. I think I did the math. She does this really cool, I wish I could show it, but it's in the pattern. There's this really cool decrease chart. So to do the decreases up, there's just this chart you follow, and it goes like all the sizes at the top, and then as you go down, it lists each row individually and tells you what you do on each row. And if it's blank, you just go across in pattern. And then if it has a certain like abbreviation, you do whatever the key says the abbreviation is. And it does make it easy to follow. And then it shows like where the ending round is and how you end the sweater and all of that. So basically we're decreasing up till we get to the shoulder point, and then it should just be like the shoulder stitches like here at the collar basically. So we're decreasing here, and then we'll have our collar around. And then from there, I've already done the bottom hem. You'll pick up all around this way and do the button band. And that should be the last step. So the goal I have, theoretically, in an ideal world, if I just had an infinite amount of time and had enough time to do this, I would love to finish the decreases before spring break and then spend spring break doing the button band and taking my time to do it right. I don't think the button band is going to be difficult, but I did add an extra inch onto the body. I think an inch, inch and a half. So because of that, my button placement is probably going to end up a little bit different. And she did a really good tutorial about button placement. And I think though I did the math that I probably would just have an extra button, because I purposely wanted to elongate the sweater about the length of a button repeat so that it just looked right, that you would just have an extra button, give you an extra little bit of length, and then you have, this sweater has a V-neck. So you're doing decreases here to kind of create the V, and you're doing decreases here to make the shoulder where it kind of joins in. So it's very interesting. I've never done bottom up before. I'm definitely learning a lot. This yarn is North Bay Fiber in their Heritage Sport, which I think is going to be called Bay Blend Sport now. They're getting rid of like the Heritage line and they're calling it Bay Blend. They said that the somebody's having fun. They said that the Bay Blend is the same blend as the Heritage. They're just changing the name for branding purposes, is what I'm gathering. So it's the same yarn. This colorway is called Mallard. It's a sport base. I did end up using one extra ball of yarn to lengthen the sweater. So yeah, that's my comeback again. This one is just going to take as long as it takes because I'm going to be really upset if I don't do it right. And with me not being as familiar with this construction, I've got to make sure I do it right. There's no ifs, ands, or buts on doing it right. Okay, so that brings us to the acquisitions part of the podcast. So over the past really like 2 months, I've acquired not a ton of yarn, but a little bit of yarn. I know we used to do the format where the podcast was every time in Wool Market Fibers with Michelle, and my goal is to transition just to have kind of an alternate because I still want to feature my local yarn store, but I don't exclusively buy yarn from my local yarn store. So it's nice to feature other makers that I'm also supporting and to talk about them in a little more depth and patterns and things like that. So when we're with Michelle, we'll focus more on Wool Market Fibers and what's going on in the shop. And I'm really excited because it looks like there's some cool stuff happening in the shop that I can't tell yet, but when Michelle starts telling, I can't wait. But then we can also kind of alternate a little bit and just kind of have a little bit, feature everybody that I'm using their stuff. So all of these acquisitions, I think most of these are from January, so we'll just go through it. In December, it was either December or January, it might have been December, Petite Knit released a pattern called the Hannah sweater. So of course, I have to knit it. Like it has to happen. So Petite Knit announced the Hannah sweater. So of course, immediately I fell in love with it. And she released a Hannah sweater V-neck and a Hannah sweater O-neck. And at first I thought I was going to knit the O-neck. I realized that the V-neck was just perfect for me. I prefer a much higher V-neck, especially I'm a teacher. When I'm working, I'm a music teacher, so I'm moving around, I'm doing a lot of things. I need garments that are going to stay modest, I guess, for lack of a better word. I need garments that are going to stay in place. I need garments that are going to move with me. So this sweater having a lot of ease, but also having a V-neck, but a high V-neck, I really, really liked. Because I like a V-neck. It's just hard to find a V-neck that's not like a plunging V-neck. And that just doesn't work with my job and what I do. Like, it's not going to work. So I'm not going to show all of it. But I got back in like early January. So it's been sitting for a while. This sweater was created to launch with the new Sandus Garn Atlas. This is their worsted base. So I'm really excited to try it. It's a non-superwash worsted. This colorway is called Gray Melange. So eventually I'm going to cast this on. I'm really excited to try it. The Comebackigan has made me really rethink how I always felt about non-superwash wool. I just thought that wasn't going to work for me. But split splicing is a game changer of, for somebody who does not like to weave in their ends, love to split splice. It's nice. But B, I'm curious to see how these sweaters are going to hold up compared to my superwash sweaters as far as like, are they going to pill as much? Are they going to still keep me warm? I know that this probably is going to be a warmer fiber, so we'll see. But this was my first acquisition. My second acquisition I was not planning on making, but it kept lingering in my mind, so I had to. And I'm very excited about doing it. I purchased the Book Club cardigan pattern by Sari Nordlund. And again, I think I got this like maybe beginning of February. Polka Dot Creek is doing a knit along. And if you don't know Polka Dot Creek, they are a yarn company in Airdrie, Alberta, Canada. I love their yarn. I think between Wool Market Fibers and Polka Dot Creek, it makes up the majority of my yarn stash, honestly. I love both of them. So they're doing a knit along for Knit City Calgary, which they're going to be vending at, and they're going to make the Book Club cardigan. And I think their reason is they're doing book boxes throughout the year, and then their booth at Knit City Calgary is going to be like book club themed. They haven't said much besides that. So the goal is like you have a book club cardigan and you've been in the book club throughout the year, and it's a really cool idea. I thought it was cool. Anyway, this is my color. I wear a lot of this color, burgundy. So I knew like when I saw this color, I was like, yes, this needs to be in my wardrobe. And they also had, I think it's called Dusk, which is like this powder blue color, which also really called to me. I could see myself getting Dusk later on in the future. Anyway, so this is they call it traditional worsted. It's 100% non-superwash merino. So again, kind of experimenting with a non-superwash base. Shelly at Polka Dot Creek said she was not alternating skeins, even though this is a hand-dyed. I'm going to compare my skeins and see what we're looking at here, because it would be really nice if I didn't have to. And then because this is non-superwash, you can split splice. So all great things. I'm very excited. I think this is going to be, I think this sweater, the gauge of this, it's going to be too tight to wear over the Hannah sweater. I don't think I would mix the two, but I could definitely see myself wearing this sweater regularly in my wardrobe. This is a color I wear a lot. So I got that sweater quantity. I will probably not buy any more sweater quantities for a little bit. Besides, we are doing a sweater make along, I believe, at Wool Market Fibers. We're kind of talking about that. So that will be my next sweater quantity if I buy any. I need to start casting these on though and get into them. So the second I get the Comebackigan and the Jethro off my needles, probably these two will get cast on. We'll see. Those were not in the plan of yarn purchases for the year, but they just kind of happened. The one yarn I did plan to purchase this year, I saw it and I was like, I have to. And again, it's Polka Dot Creek, but they're doing a Disney Princess sock club. Look at this. This was January's color. And if you can't tell which princesses these are, this is Anna and Elsa for January. And let me see, is there, okay. When you get this pattern, there's a code. Oh, there it is. So let's not show that. There's a code to download. Shelly made some patterns to go with these. So I don't want to show those. And then February is Aurora. Okay, yeah. So they've already announced that March is going to be Tiana from Princess and the Frog. So this is Anna and Elsa from Frozen. This is Aurora from Sleeping Beauty. Who was it? So Tiana is going to be March's colorway from Princess and the Frog, and April is going to be Rapunzel from Tangled. So I'm really excited. I think these would be really cool. I'm debating. I did mention at the beginning of the year I wanted to knit 26 pairs of socks in 2026. Obviously, I'm falling down on that, but these, honestly, once I get these sweaters off the needles and this kind of stuff, this is going to be like, at my lunch break, I'm knitting 10 rounds on this sock every day. So I think very quickly you're going to see me start catching up, hopefully. We'll see. On socks, I'm debating on if I'm going to do these. I don't think I'm going to do the pattern that Shelly created for them. No shade against Shelly because it was a cool pattern. But let me know in the comments what you think. I'm debating between the Fairground socks by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bears, Heel Toe Do-Si Do by Crazy Sock Lady, or just a plain vanilla sock. Because my goal is I don't want to do all different patterns for all of these. I'd like for them to all be in the same pattern. So when you look at like the set, they all look like a set. And then I'm also debating on when I split them out into my sock stash, am I going to split them out by month and have January have Anna and Elsa and February have Aurora, or am I going to have like 1 month of the year that is just princess socks, which will be fun. But I think they said there's going to be 14 princesses, and they had a graphic, like a little artwork up with all the princesses in there, so you can kind of start to do like a process of elimination to see who's left. But there are 14 in that picture as well, so I think they're doing the 14 in that picture. So we'll see. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. I love their self-striping yarn. They're to me one of the best self-striping dyers out there. There's definitely some other great ones too. So we'll see. So yeah, so pattern acquisitions, I've acquired the Hannah Sweater V-neck by Petite Knit. I've also acquired the Book Club cardigan by Sari Nordlund. I think that's it for today. My plans for March are going to be kind of a March whip madness. Get the whips off the needles as much as possible. So really working hard on that on the Jethro and the Comebackigan to get both of those done, get the sock done. If I could get the Jaunty done in March, that would be great. I don't know that that's possible for me. We'll just see. And I don't feel like I need to hold myself off on casting on the Hannah sweater or the Book Club cardigan just for the Jaunty. So we'll see. If I finish the Comebackigan in March, will be good because we talked about every quarter I finish a long-standing whip. My first quarter whip was the Comebackigan. set quarter 2, we're looking at the King Salmon Light by Caitlin Hunter. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, I hope you're all having a good day, and I will see you very soon. Bye.